All right, well, thank you so much for coming along today to Newlands Intermediate. It's really one of my privileges always to announce new property, and today is one of those days. Today, the announcement of new build classrooms to account for role growth in the Wellington region is that schools like Newlands Intermediate are going to be getting 10 classrooms. I announced that today to the children. They're very excited because some of those classrooms will be specialist technology classrooms. And the other announcement today for the Wellington region is Aotea College, and that is an investment of 16 classrooms, and they have been waiting for those classrooms for a very long time. They've got significant property issues that they have been lobbying both the ministry and myself about for a long time, and so I'm really pleased today to be able to announce that we'll be building 16 classrooms at Aotea College. So 10 here at Newlands Intermediate and 16 at Aotea College, and I'll have more to say in coming days about other regions of New Zealand accounting for role growth. The reason that we're able to do this is not only the budget injection from 2025, but also the fact that I've directed the ministry to build more off-site manufactured classrooms, more repeatable designs, and we are driving down the cost of our classroom. So today, when we are building a new classroom, when there aren't any complications, it costs half what it did when I came into office, and that means we are able to build more warm, dry, safe classrooms in more regions of New Zealand. We built more classrooms last year than we did in 2023, and we will build more classrooms this year than we did last year because we are driving that efficiency and better value for money. But there is a second announcement today, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while and something I've been thinking about for a very long time. And that announcement is that this government is calling time on Openplan classrooms. We will no longer be building those barnyard-style open classrooms without any doors that separate classrooms. My message to parents is that your children will be learning in single-cell classrooms that are modular, so there will be open and closed sliding doors that will allow for those classrooms to become bigger for when events require. But when they are learning using explicit teaching, the new curriculum, the new maths books, they will be learning in single-cell classrooms. And we know that for our children, those environments are quieter, they allow for more structured learning. For our neurodiverse kids, they are so much better. The evidence tells us that those classrooms are going to help us get to where we need to get to in terms of raising achievement and closing the equity gap. And so all of the classrooms that the ministry will be building from now on will be designed in a flexible way so that they are classrooms that are single cell that can be opened or closed to make bigger classrooms if required. And this is something that the Prime Minister has made mention of a number of times. It's something that I've made mention of, and I'm very proud today to be able to say that the designs that the Ministry will be putting forward will no longer be those open plan barnyard style classrooms. And with that, I'm happy to take all of your questions.
Minister, National first push for open classrooms back in 2011. Do you admit that there was a lack of research?
We've been building open plan classrooms forever. I remember when I started school, my very first classroom was open plan, 3 classrooms, 90 children, and this was in, I'm ageing myself here, but like 1983. So multiple governments over multiple years, we've been flip-flopping around without any evidence, but the evidence is quite clear that these classrooms are not optimal. In saying that, there are schools who still have them and they operate in them to the best they possibly can. They've trained their teachers to work in them. They've got really good acoustics. They're teaching children at different levels, so some up in chairs, some on the floor to reduce the noise, and they're doing the best they can. But going forward, we will be building classrooms that are optimised for learning.
And for those schools like Shirley Boys High School down in Christchurch, they went with, when they were rebuilding, they went with the open plan classrooms. They found it didn't work for them. Yeah. They spent $800,000 out of their own money to change that plan. Will the government be helping schools like that in future transition into more traditional classrooms?
Look, this is something we've clearly thought about. Schools have budgets. They have their 5YA budgets that they can use to change the configuration of their classrooms. I'm going to be making more announcements at the end of this week on the future of property and education, and it is something that the new plans will take into account. So I'll have more to say later in the week.
Why not continue to offer choice if it works for some schools?
Well, we will say to schools, if there is an exceptional reason that they would like that style of classroom, that they can put their case to us. We're not going to build it if there is a very good reason, but the ministry's done quite a bit of research. They've engaged with schools. They've looked at 8,000 different learning spaces in coming to this decision. And they've used noise monitors and light monitors and all sorts of things. And the overwhelming feedback from schools is that teachers do not like teaching in these classrooms. Principals do not like having these classrooms. And it is now our position that we will not be building any more of them unless by specific request.
Do you attribute the decline in educational achievement to these classroom setups?
The decline in educational achievement is multifactorial. It's predominantly because we've had a curriculum that has not supported year-by-year knowledge-rich learning. We've not had consistent assessment practices, which we are bringing in next year, twice-yearly assessment to measure progress. We've not been teaching the best ways of teaching mathematics and reading. And this year, we have a knowledge-rich curriculum. We have twice-yearly assessments coming next year. We're the first country in the world to mandate structured literacy and structured mathematics. And we're delivering professional learning and development to tens of thousands of teachers. That is what is going to turn the ship around. But certainly making sure that children are in learning environments that are quiet and peaceful and allow those teachers to do that structured, explicit teaching like we have mandated will certainly help.
Do you know how many classrooms up until this point have shifted from open plan style to back to traditional style?
Yeah, we've only really got anecdotal evidence. The ministry doesn't keep on its records, unfortunately, what they've built, and we certainly don't get information from schools on whether or not they have gone back and put walls in. But we know that they have. Some of them have spent their own money, some of them have used ministry money, and that will continue to happen over the years.
And 10 new classrooms here at Newlands Intermediate. Here they have a role over 100 students past their capacity. How much do you think this will benefit the school?
Oh, look, 10 new classrooms for Newlands Intermediate is going to be a game changer. It's a really popular school. They have really good results. People want to send their children here, and it's our mission to make sure we're accounting for that growth. We put in a significant amount at Budget 25 and Budget 24 so that I'm able to now go around the country and announce these new classrooms. But remembering this is just growth, this is not maintenance. We've also got a huge maintenance budget as well, which is redeveloping, fixing up classrooms and making sure that those classrooms, we can use them for as long as we possibly can.
What about the teachers to meet this growth in the number of students? Is that still an issue?
Look, teaching workforce is a problem all around the world and here in New Zealand as well. In saying that, though, we have a world-leading education system through these reforms. With the new curriculum, the explicit teaching, all of the professional learning and development, all of the maths resources, 830,000 maths books that went out, why would you not want to be a teacher? And we've seen that because we know this year we've got to have about a 25% uptick in the provisional numbers of teachers who are in training. Last year it was I think a 6% increase, and we delivered this year the largest increase in the teaching workforce in 20 years. So it is an amazing profession. You change lives, and you are now working in an education system that is the envy of the world, because we see so many countries looking to the education reforms that we're putting in place because it is driving excellence.
Because I remember the Ministry of Education at the start of this year was projecting something like over 1,000 teacher. A shortage of over 1,000 teachers. How are we progressing with meeting that demand?
Look, I get updates constantly, and we are progressing really well. The on-site teacher training program, we upped by an extra 500 odd spaces this year. We know we've got more teachers in training. We know that this year 3,000 young people signed up to be interested in becoming a teacher, which is one of the highest levels we've had. So we know we're turning it around. We also put primary and intermediate school teachers on the green list immediate straight to residence pathway. We're paying relocation fees of $10,000 per teacher to come to New Zealand. We're literally pulling out all of the stops to plug this gap. We paid teacher registration fees. That was a $53 million investment. Last year when we paid teacher fees, we had hundreds of teachers returning to the profession, coming back to either teach full-time or be relievers. So we're on track.
That's spreading equally across different regions. Rural schools, for example, particularly struggle with specialised teachers like tech teachers. Are you seeing that happening?
We will always have an issue where there are certain pockets where it's hard to attract teachers to, which is why we have some schemes to attract teachers into those regions. I'm going to have more to say about those schemes in the future. We're making some changes to make sure we can really attract great teachers into hard to staff regions. And also recently I announced our policy to pay up to $4,000 per student to help them when they are on their practicums teaching in those rural and hard to staff areas as well. So we really are doing everything we possibly can.
You mentioned maintenance, but when will schools like Onslow College go and find out about budget allocations to upgrade their buildings?
Yeah, this week is all about new classrooms. In the coming weeks, I'll start talking about some of those maintenance upgrades as well.
Flexible classrooms, that was mentioned too.
Yes.
For my understanding, what do you mean by, what's the difference between a flexible classroom and an open plan classroom?
Sure. Look, an open plan classroom is, what you would imagine, being sort of a long corridor with children who are learning in different spots, but there are no flexible walls or doors that can be closed to reduce the noise and have that single cell environment. Really, best practice is to have that configuration, but with those glass sliding doors that can be open or closed. So if you need to have an event, you can have a larger classroom, or if you want to have your explicit structured literacy or explicit structured maths lesson happening and you need the peace and the quiet and the focus from the students during that explicit teaching time, then you would shut off those sliding doors. It's also quite good for new teachers when they are in their first 2 years of teaching, being able to have the teacher next door who's right there, who can see their class, see what's happening, provide that support through those glass doors. Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice and easy.
Thanks, Rose.
That's all good. Who?
We'll leave it. Yeah. Cool. Perhaps you could start with your title and name and everything, so everyone's clear.
Yes, so I'm Chris Else. I'm the newly appointed Tumuaki at Newlands Intermediate. I've been here now for, I'm going into my third term, so I started at the beginning of the year. Yeah.
10 new classrooms here, what does that feel like to hear?
Really exciting, because this has been an ongoing process. So to hear it today from the Minister announce that we get in the 10 classrooms is really exciting. The staff, and if you were in the hall, the kids are super excited to know that we get the 10 new classrooms for role growth. It is a game changer, like the Minister said. It's going to set us up.
Do you have any indication on when you might get those classrooms?
We're in that final process of procurement now, so once that's finalised and contracts are signed, then I suppose it'll be a gantry around timelines and what that looks like, but hopefully soon, so we don't have massive pressures with the role growth that we have, or where do we put those extra kids in.
What has your role been like at the moment?
We have got large classrooms, large amount of students in classrooms, but within intermediates, where we cope, but it's going to be really nice to know that we can alleviate some of the pressures via Kaiaka to have smaller classrooms with less students in them.
What kind of classrooms do you have now?
We have single cells, and we have what the Minister says around flexible, that they can come out. So we have open learning, well, not open learning, we call them shared learning spaces where the kids can come out, but they are primarily single cell classrooms that our kids work in throughout the school.
If you're going to have buildings where, say, there's two classrooms with glass doors in between to section them off, how often do you reckon the glass doors will be open and you'll sort of be working as one sort of...
To be brutally honest, with this whole concept plan and the off-site build, we're still going to be in a concept design phase, and so we're not across even that line yet of what that actually looks like. So that'll still be a work in progress with whoever is the supplier.
What's your sense, though, in situations where the teachers can open the doors and share a space, how often are they going to be doing that? most?
It's a great question, because I think what it ultimately around is around who is your cohort of kids, what are their strengths and weaknesses, who are the teachers aligned, what are their strengths and weaknesses, and you basically are trying to create an environment that best suits both student and teacher. So if it needs to open and they can work together, so be it, and it depends on what the curriculum area is. If it's, needs to quiet, door gets closed, if that was to be the case, and then those kids work within that single cell.
What's your thoughts on Openplan classrooms? There's been a lot of conversation about it.
I'm originally from Christchurch and worked within open, ILEs. They started off with modern learning environments and became innovative learning environments. It's got its place, but for neurodiverse kids that are struggling, really hard because, and then you have your kids who know how to hide within the nooks and crannies of open learning spaces. So a lot relied on teachers to know their learner, but you'd have the same in a single cell. Personally, preference, I like the idea of a flexible open up, close when you can. It gives options.
Do you have any open learning classrooms here?
No.
And what are your thoughts on the Ministry of Education introducing this concept of Openplan classrooms when there doesn't seem to have been a lot of research into it?
It's a really hard one to answer because I don't know the rationale why the ministry did it at the time, but I think, if memory serves me, it was around the earthquake time when, it was a whole lot of rebuilds, and I suppose Finland, if I remember, Finland was raised as a country that has it, and we looked at it, and it was exciting because it was new and it was innovative, and teachers had autonomy in those areas to create different spaces. So, I don't want to give it a bad rap in that sense, because it allowed teachers to be a little bit have autonomy and experiment and have these different learning spaces that they could give rangatahi to experience and learn in. So when I had it, and co-teaching was great because you worked off each other's strengths as well. So as a teacher, I had my strengths and other teachers had their strengths, and we could co-teach and have different groups. So it definitely had its advantages as well. But there was the times when it was hard, noise, the acoustics and lighting definitely had to improve.
Is your school at capacity at the moment, and if so, how much more students are on the roll in that capacity?
So the school originally was built for 375, and I'm under correction because, like I said, I'm 20 weeks in, but 375, we're up to 517, I believe. So, we are over. We have large classrooms. The smallest classroom is 29 students, and the largest being 31. And we've got 17 classrooms, general purpose classrooms. So they're all pretty full.
And how tough is that for the teachers here?
They're not letting me know if it is tough. I've got a great staff. It's a staff that knows it's what they've got. They have to, they're in zone. We have to cater for the needs. So I'm really proud of the staff here that they are working with what they have. Would they like smaller classes? Absolutely. But they just get on to business, roll up sleeves and get on with it. Yeah.
How quickly do you think you'll need more classrooms additional to attend?
If I could get it tomorrow, it'd be awesome. Realistically, the sooner the better. So, if we get suppliers identified, what that concept design looks like, the start of next year would be great, but realistically that's not going to happen. So, but it would alleviate problems immediately. 2026 would be great.
And will the new classrooms accommodate for specialised?
Yep. So there's 6 specialised learning spaces that have been identified to go into the new build with 4 general classrooms. Yeah.
Is that like tech?
Yeah. So you've got your hard materials, your textiles, your arts, creative arts is really something I'm proud of as well at Akura, that we cater for creative arts as well, so there'll be a space for that as well.
And you're getting 10 now, but in the future, I understand there's a lot of houses being built in the zone as well, so how quickly do you think we're going to...
So that's what we're working with the ministry around the master build, and then what is the next phase. So let's call this phase 1. Once that's up, like anything, really pleased to hear that RT is getting these 16 because they just had recently a brand new. So you're always looking ahead, I suppose. It's just trying to be ahead of the game, but it's difficult for the minister and the ministry to go, well, what is those predictions and stuff. So I appreciate that they're trying their best, and we just work within those parameters.
Thank you very much.
All good. Hey, thank you so much.